ground this flat. I like a striker better than my moose. This punch is too small for this preform, but it'll just take longer. Is raw chert. I'll just do a little bit here. Hopefully this camera angle will work okay. I'm listening to music, and if a video gets flagged, which I don't know why, I don't monetize my videos. If it does, I don't know how many strikes I have, but it might be the end of me. We're going to build our body in from the tail. It's the most important part to get that build perfect on the back end. I've got a springy shaft here, and it's dug in, and it's anchored. So it's got some spring. If it's got kick in it, that's when the flakes don't want to come off. I'll try to move it in a little bit towards you guys. Not trapping when those flakes are thin. Pinching the edge when I don't abrade. This is a great album. I'm way behind in my emails, and so if you haven't heard from me, I'll get to you. And Sophus, I haven't forgot about your video. I've been doing tons of chipping, but I've just been offline and just not. I've got some orders almost done. I've just been keeping to myself. This would go quicker if I had twice as big a punch here, but it's okay. This antler is straight, you can just sort of turn it. It's going to wear a little mouth in the end of it. It'll get chewed up a little bit if you do a lot of trimming. But yeah, just sort of hit it with a file of the sandstone, or just turn your little shaft. Now when I do the heavy grinding and then random, it helps to have a little bigger antler, but we'll just punch what this little tine can punch. I was gonna stick the tool in there, but there's a little. Oops, I just get that out of the way. reground. Now there'd be a platform there, and maybe we'll just fix a few as we go up. If your flake is going to be a finger stinger, then you just put your pad down. Support. Make sure, do the big flakes, sometimes if I move my leg around a reach or something, this shaft is not in the ground good. And if you're, the guys that are copper punching with stuff tied, little ishi sticks under their leg or tied under their leg, they can get away with that because it's copper. But if you're using antler and more acute edges, you want it to be springy, but you want it to be anchored. If you guys didn't see Freeze Cracks discombobulated clip of this video earlier today, and you want to laugh, go watch it. It was one of the funniest things I've seen in 2017. Besides that old time with Rico the other day when he was trying to chase a squirrel around a tree. It's a little junky spot there. I have to move over and do a little better isolating because I've got some really nice flakes here. And I got just a little sticker stuck in there, so let's do a little blender here and then we can catch up from the other side. So make a little isolated and regrind. Maybe back off on my support. If there's a little mouth worn in there with a little flake, test to make sure there's not a flake in there. And make sure you turn your buffalo bone around so you get your flat spot. Sort of crushed a little bit. There's awful limestone in there. We'll just clean it through this side. This is a nice piece of chert though. Maybe take a couple flakes and we're probably at 7. So there. I cleaned right in. Songbirds are nice, but sometimes they're just plain aggravating. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. See how it's wearing a little bit? It's pretty amazing it doesn't wear more, actually. So now I've got my little point there. You can feel it. If it's slick, you don't want it to be too slick. So just sort of just put the point up there. Now we'll do a little nibble and trim because it's almost too pointed. So we're going to use it, scuff it up a little bit with a little trimming. Let me maybe move over and do some blending. The leather pressure you have to watch now. If you get to be flat when your edge is low, you can trap those flakes, and you want the tournament clean. Sometimes you don't want that, so just back off here and bridge it. And be careful not to get our fingers in the way. And if you have a little low edge or problem, sometimes you work back and forth. You can random until you get closer to finish, and then things get a little bit more organized. This is easy enough. If just working with thinner edges, the guys that are wanting to do some antler punching, it's just, you can't be hitting Delrin. You can't have a little bone insert into your Delrin handle and have it be short, just wedged under your leg. You want it to be flexy, but you want it to, and if you hit with wood, it can be kind of leg stinging. With a bone and up, it doesn't. I mean, I've got leather padding under there, but I'm not worried about the shock to my leg. It's not. I can barely notice it. I do more with percussion, slamming, working on my leg than I do with this. So anyhow, that's enough. That's getting kind of smooth. We do. Signatures of real thin flakes that kick out on the terminations because there's a lot of power. See that a lot on early archaic stuff where they're blocking it and their stem. They don't want it. They've got their thickness exactly where they want it above the haft, and so you'll see signatures where they're in a more rigid support, possibly because they've got it stuck in their handle loosely, and then they're doing some punch work, and you see signatures of teeny kicks off those terminations right in the middle. And that's due to the angle being blocked and right, and then the support being a little bit more tuned up. So anyway, this rock is getting a little tougher in the middle, but it's going to make a nice. We'll leave the circle in there, and then this will dry out, and this point will look old as the hills if I can keep the right body on it and do some good bone notching. 1129 flush.